Today's top boxing news.
You want to cause a beef between Clarissa and Amanda, but you don't want Clarissa to fight Amanda. This shit's stupid.
Why the fuck don't I want her to fight her? I want Amanda got to move up though.
You mean the other way around?
I don't want my
the other way around. There's only one A side. There's only one A side. There's only one A side. There's only one A side.
Fuck out of here. Amanda not the A.
You sound so stupid.
You sound so stupid. You a nut.
Typical Clarissa Shields fan. That guy doesn't know how stupid he sounds. Clarissa Shields' next fight is going to be at heavyweight against a heavyweight in Danielle Perkins. And what he's advocating for is that Clarissa fight essentially a featherweight, 126-pounder. So that's like Alexander Usyk fighting Rafael Espinoza. But Amanda Serrano's last fight was at 140 pounds, 140. That's super lightweight. Okay, so that's like Usyk fighting Richardson Hitchens. Does that seem less stupid to you? See, Clarissa Shields is that big a nobody that all they can do is attach her name to the somebodies in women's boxing. Because why else would you be advocating that Clarissa, who's currently campaigning and reigning as a heavyweight champion, fight somebody so much smaller than she is, and then saying that Amanda has to move up? There isn't a middle ground for a fight like that. 140 pounds is Amanda Serrano's ceiling. She can't fight any higher than that. She's too small. And why would she be the one that has to move up when she's the one with the corporate sponsorships? She's the one with the endorsements. She's the one that just made the multi-million-dollar payday. Why would she be the one that has to acquiesce to Clarissa? She's the A-side. Just the other day, you saw Clarissa Shields complaining that other female boxers were not talking about her movie. Does that sound like something an A-side would do? I saw the Exhibitor Relations X account say, "To the Amazon Prime bin with you. MGM's The Fire Inside was all smoke and no fire, debuting with just 2 million over the weekend, 4.3 since Christmas." What was the budget? The budget to make the movie was 12. I'm fairly confident that if you did a biopic on Amanda Serrano, it would do better, at least better than Clarissa's, because she's more beloved by more people. Confident. And I'm confident that Clarissa Shields needs an Amanda Serrano fight, an Amanda Serrano payday, more than Amanda needs one, because Amanda has more options at or around the weights where she campaigns, and she already makes more money than Clarissa without Clarissa. So why would she be... What the hell does Clarissa bring to the table that would make her the A-side? What? That you picked up 3 vacant titles at middleweight, 3 more at junior middleweight, now you're at heavyweight and you're going to pick up 3 more up there, is that it? That they manufactured 3 more titles for you to pick up out of thin air in a division where nobody campaigns? That makes you the A-side? There are champions already at 147, champions already at 154, that any notion of these two fighting, well, it wouldn't be for a belt, and it would be Amanda bringing the profile to the fight. It would be Amanda Serrano bringing the money, the actual money. Who do you think has more dough? Most Valuable Promotions or Dimitri Salita? You can't talk to Shields' fans because these are not intelligent people. And I don't care if you're one of them. If you don't have the reasoning skills to see that Amanda Serrano would be the A-side in that situation, she's worth more dough, she makes more of it. What do you think, getting loud is a solution? Higher octave or more decibels don't change the facts. Let's talk about Clarissa Shields fans. Clarissa Shields fans that don't seem to know much about her outside of what you can read on Wikipedia, mostly because they don't watch her. And in reality, they're not fans of her. The guy who was arguing with Nesta Gibbs on the phone, do you think he saw Clarissa's movie? Do you think he took time out of his day to watch her fight Vanessa Joanese or Marisela Cornejo? No. He cares more about what guys like me and you think of Clarissa than Clarissa herself, because when it comes to Clarissa, I'm fairly confident he's not paying attention. It's an inferiority complex. When so much of what you derive from boxing is all centered around who you identify with, identity politics, well, then you're not actually talking about Clarissa Shields anymore, and you're not actually talking about boxing. You're really talking about yourself. You're not defending her, you're defending yourself. Underneath it all, you're making this about you, and, well, we don't give a shit about you. I don't. If it's about Amanda and Clarissa, the matter is actually simple. It's a stupid fight, it's a stupid suggestion, but if we are going to suggest it, Amanda is the clear A-side over Clarissa Shields. The money Amanda made in her last fight is likely more than Clarissa's made in her entire career. The whole thing. I mean the whole thing, from her debut till now. There isn't a fight that Clarissa can have at either heavyweight, light heavyweight, super middle, middle, or junior middle that would get her $6 million.
Doesn't exist.
No damn good and well she doesn't generate anywhere near that kind of money.
Not in the boxing ring, and not at the box office.
You don't support her. You just want to argue with us. You only come into it when you see other female fighters getting talked about in a positive light, whether it's Katie Taylor or Amanda Serrano. That's when you get involved.
Because you have an inferiority complex.
The way you argue and what you're arguing is asinine.
It'll never happen anyway.
What do you got it in your head that because she's unbeaten, she calls the shots?
Caleb Plant was unbeaten, Callum Smith was unbeaten, Billy Joe Saunders was unbeaten, but when they fought Canelo, who called the shots?
Edgar Berlanga was unbeaten, Jaime Munguia was unbeaten, but when they fought Canelo, who called the shots?
Who called the shots?
You know understanding of how boxing works? If you know understanding of how the world works?
Perhaps not.
And perhaps if you actually spent more time supporting Clarissa, actually supporting her, instead of arguing about her with strangers online, she'd be in a better position, a better place, and not bombing at the box office.
Time to even entertain this stupid conversation. Amanda's the A side, and you might not like it, but who gives a shit if you don't like it?
Who are you?
Shut up.
In men's lightweight news, Oscar De La Hoya has said there are talks for a William Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer rematch that could happen once Zepeda has recovered from his hand injury. The first we heard of this was from Tevin Farmer himself.
He said Golden Boy wants to do a rematch.
But he also said there was no anti-doping testing for the fight. None before the fight, none after the fight. So I'm gonna assume that if he's going into a rematch, not that one is needed,
Because it isn't.
there will be anti-doping testing next time. Why would Golden Boy Promotions entertain a rematch? For what reason? You saw the fight. Aside from the knockdown that Tevin Farmer scored, he got beat up, he got mollywopped, he got dominated. Is this recompense for there not being anti-doping testing in the first one? Is this their way of buying Tevin Farmer's silence by giving him another go-round? Because Tevin said it was part of the contract.
The VADA testing.
And hypothetically speaking, if VADA testing was written into the contract, but no VADA testing was actually conducted, that's a breach. That constitutes a breach.
A violation.
And that was supposed to be a WBC eliminator, the World Boxing Council's clean boxing program. What happened to all of that? This story isn't getting enough coverage. So when Oscar De La Hoya confirms that talks for a rematch are happening, I'm left wondering if it's not recompense for the anti-doping testing they didn't conduct. Or is it, if nothing else, just a way to keep William Zepeda away from Shakur Stevenson? He's said to be injured. The injury kept him out of the Stevenson fight in February, and now what Oscar's talking about is fighting Tevin again after that, after he's healed up.
That would theoretically once again keep him out of a Stevenson fight if he's preoccupied with Tevin.
Looks like a stone cold duck to me. Oscar did make some mention of a potential Matchroom versus Golden Boy tournament, similar to the one that we saw between Matchroom and Queensbury. Stevenson versus Zepeda would be ideal for such a tournament.
But I don't know.
When would they be doing the tournament? What's the ETA on that? What are we talking about? The second quarter of next year? The third? The fourth? When would this be going down in relation to a potential Zepeda versus Farmer rematch? Most of you already know what I think, and if you don't, I'll tell you. It's not that William is afraid of Shakur, and it's not Shakur they're afraid of. It's the testing, the anti-doping testing. Shakur Stevenson is the reigning WBC champion.
You can pull that crap on Tevin, but you can't pull that on Shakur.
If you fight Shakur, there will be anti-doping testing because Matchroom will make sure there's anti-doping testing. Do you have something to hide? When you look at the fight stylistically, William has the right style for the job, the right output, pressure, aggression. These are all things that throw a pure boxer off his game, and yet for some reason, Golden Boy is apprehensive to do this. It's so clear.
They're trying to put distance between William and Shakur.
What are they afraid of? Shakur's not a knockout merchant. He doesn't even punch hard. And he doesn't even throw that many punches. So what are they running from? It's the testing.
That's what.
And so another Golden Boy Promotions fighter in Floyd Schofield has offered himself up to fight Shakur in William's place.
You wonder that Golden Boy isn't letting him do it to get the heat off of William.
At the very best, a temporary solution, as Shakur is widely favored to beat Floyd Schofield. If and when he does, the focus is going to shift back over to William.
You ain't off the hook.
And there ain't no alternatives. There isn't really a safe route to win a belt at 135. Keyshawn Davis is about to challenge Dennis Berenchik for his.
Lamont Roach is about to challenge Javante for his.
So Lomachenko still has the IBF. He may be courting retirement, but if he does, the two guys in line to fight for his belt are Zaur Abdullaev and Raymond Muratadya.
There's no safe route to a title.
Enter a Tevin Farmer rematch that nobody's really asking for and that isn't necessary. You don't find it funny that Oscar and Golden Boy are entertaining this? And finally, in men's heavyweight news, Eddie Hearn on Alexander Usyk legacy debates. Twitter is a wild place. You start seeing arguments about, is he an all-time great? Yes, of course he's an all-time great. He went to pretty much everyone's backyard to unify the cruiserweight division, then stepped up to heavyweight and beat Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Daniel Dubois, the three top heavyweights in the world. He's beat them all. It's phenomenal what he's done. He is an all-time great. What would seem like a no-brainer to me and you is subject to some debate to other people.
One in particular that got everybody's attention immediately after the fight. Timothy Bradley. Timothy, who spent a lot of time putting Tyson Fury on a pedestal.
See, up until Usyk beats him, in Tim's opinion,
ATG?
Tyson Fury was an all-time great. An all-time great already. This is the reaction that he got for beating Dillian White.
Tyson Fury can compete, I believe, in any era of the heavyweight division. And I say that because, one, his size, 6'9". We haven't seen a heavyweight that size before, just as Mark alluded to. His skills, he can switch southpaw, he can orthodox, he can fight long, he can fight the inside, he has punching power, he's smarter than everybody, he's better than everybody on the mic besides Muhammad Ali. I mean, you can go back and you look at these guys. Muhammad Ali is about 6'3"-ish, George Foreman's about 6'3.5". I mean, he's bigger than all these guys, and they have to deal with all of those elements I just mentioned.
Think about
anybody.
Think about
anybody.
What we've seen.
And I won't say that he is. I can say hypothetically.
Yes.
He is probably the best heavyweight.
In the hypothetical matchups,
Yes.
it's tough to think
Best
of a guy.
one.
Well, listen, his
the best
resume.
heavyweight of all time.
Did you catch that? For beating Dillian White, he's the king of hypothetical matchups. He's the best heavyweight of all time, except there's nothing hypothetical about what Usyk did to Fury. There's nothing hypothetical about that, and this was his reaction to that.
Great shit that's going on? All-time great? Are you kidding me? Man, look. Recency bias. Just because he beat the two best heavyweights of this era does not make him an all-time great. Usyk. That's what I'm talking about. Usyk. He is not an all-time great. Y'all need to stop with that.
Why? That's the reaction that you had to Tyson Fury beating Dillian White. Why wouldn't people have that reaction when Usyk beats Tyson Fury? It stands to reason.
You say it's recency bias when people say the same things about Usyk that you said about Fury right after he beats Dillian White. I think beating Fury is bigger than beating Dillian White. I think beating Anthony Joshua is bigger than beating Dillian White. I think beating Daniel Dubois.
That's bigger too. So why should anybody stop? Why shouldn't anybody think that Alexander Usyk is an ATG? This is not an isolated incident. This is not a fighter catching lightning in a bottle like George Kambosos did with Teofimo Lopez or Leon Spinks with Muhammad Ali years ago.
It's not a fluke.
It's not one guy, one night, fighting the fight of his life, then going back to mediocrity. No, Usyk was already accomplished going in. You could argue that he was already an ATG before he beat Fury, but afterwards, he's gotta be.
Especially to you, because you're the one who put Fury on a pedestal. So when he knocks him off...
The byproduct of this imbalanced kind of coverage from the boxing media in America, as this is largely an American phenomenon, is you're sending fighters the wrong message. That if Usyk can do as well as he did
and you still deprive him of his plaudits. You still don't give him credit. Why should a younger generation fight that hard then? Why should they do it? You didn't give Usyk any credit. You probably won't give them any credit either. It sends everybody the wrong message. The guy you do put on a pedestal, Tyson Fury, the one who said he didn't care about Undisputed, it's not a priority to him, that was always somebody else's dream. This is the guy you talk up. This is the guy you put on a pedestal, but the guy that beats him, he's not an ATG. I don't often disagree with Tim Bradley, but this is an exceptionally bad take. The worst one he's ever had, I think. The worst take of the year. And what do I always say? The Americans love big talkers more than they love big doers. So many Americans decided that because Tyson Fury beat a one-handed fighter in Deontay Wilder, and because he can talk some shit, because he's halfway decent on the mic, he's the second coming of Muhammad Ali. Ridiculous. And then you wonder why American boxing and American boxers are nowhere near as good as they used to be. It's because time and time again, people in the media send everybody the wrong message. What seems like common sense to the rest of the world is subject to some debate in America because Americans are idiots. Respectfully, some of the worst boxing takes in the entire sport of boxing come from America. Amanda Serrano needs to move up to fight Clarissa Shields. Naoya Inoue needs to move up to fight Gervonta Davis. Fury is an ATG, but Usyk isn't. After he beats Fury, not once, but twice. In the same year. By and large, America has fast become the home for the worst boxing takes in the entire sport of boxing. They only thought Fury was special because he beat an American. After he beat Vladimir Klitschko, that's not the tune they were singing. It's not till he beats Wilder that all of a sudden he's the greatest of all times. He could compete in any era. It's just a bunch of bullshit. You guys weren't even paying attention to him until 2018. If you had, then you would have saw this coming. And frankly, if you were honest with yourselves about Deontay Wilder, you would have known he's not that good either. None of this was hard to forecast. Knowing that Usyk would have Tyson Fury's number, I think Better B versus Bivol was a more difficult fight to forecast. It still is. But when it came to Fury and Usyk, if you've been following this channel for the last 2 to 3 years, you will have heard me say it to no end. Usyk's gonna take him to school. Usyk is gonna beat him. And it's not gonna be different in the rematch. There is nothing that Tyson Fury does better than Usyk. So it would seem that some have arrived late to that party with a case of sour grapes.